Joining us today are the makers of Dr. Arora. Thank you so much, all three of you, for taking time out to do this. Let me dive straight into it. Where did the idea of taking up a theme around sex, because I mean, to me, it's a little odd as somebody who sees India becoming the most populated country in the world, and then we're so like scared of talking about sex, you know. Even while doing this interview, I'm scared that my parents are going to watch it. They'll be like, what is she talking about? You know? But like, why is it, and why did this idea come to you, and like, how did it start?
I love this awkwardness about sex and talk about sex, and I've made shows. There's a show called Purushetra that I made long time back, and it was about men and their problems that they can't talk to each other about. So invariably it turned out around sex. However, this idea must have originated on the train on Utkal Express, if I am correct, when I used to go from Delhi to Jamshedpur and from Jamshedpur to Delhi during my college days.
Okay.
And crossing these towns like Jhansi and Bhind Morena, I used to see the advertising on walls of sex doctors. So it was very intriguing that why should there be so much advertising of this product or service?
Right.
And I know that we are a very narrow-minded community around sex, and especially in those towns that I'm talking about, small towns and not open-minded. So how would it be actually to be a sex doctor in a town like this? And many sex doctors travel from town to town. So the same sex doctor has clinic in Morena and Jhansi and blah, blah. What his life would be, he'd probably be hiding the fact that he's a sex doctor. Like being a sex doctor is almost being perceived as a pervert or something, you know.
Yeah.
Although he's just bringing relief to poor people who can't talk to anybody. But there's also this very juicy queasiness or awkwardness around it, which I love. It's like, this is where you hit.
Yeah.
This is where you should poke, you know, and you should talk about it in a way that's interesting and cool rather than like trying to give funda.
वो खुद परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहा, वही छोड़ देगा।
अरे नहीं नहीं, वो तो कर लेते, परफॉर्म कर लेते हैं वो।
And how did the marriage of you as a
You're not married.
No, I mean like you as the directors, and then you coming in as somebody who's written, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how was that like? Was it difficult working with him? Did he like want to check everything that you were doing on the set?
And also beyond that. There is this, headmaster for us. For both of us, it was our first experience to be working, co-directing. We've done stuff on our own, but two different minds obviously will think differently. For us to know that we shouldn't meander, our visions should not meander too much, there was this focal point that was needed. There was this bouncing board that was needed, and we knew that we could keep coming back to him with any conflict, etc., whatever, and find resolution, because him being the primary writer of the show, we also had to understand his vision completely, and in order to endorse it and then execute it.
Right, right. Abroad, we've seen, you know, different directors directing different like parts of the series, you know, like different episodes. Was it easy understanding what he was trying to achieve with Dr. Arora, and where did your understanding sort of come in? When did you get on board with?
I got on board about nearly 2 years back with Sir, and actually it was not very difficult for me, honestly, because I'd always looked up to him, and I've been an Imtiaz Ali fan myself. So honestly, what happens is, I'm just starting out directing, right? So you don't know how this product is going to be and how the audience is going to receive it. But when he came in as that, like as he said, a bouncing board or sort of validation for us. So what we had to do. So our attempt was just to sort of do justice to his vision, and rest everything else, you know, was what Sir had to do. So I would rather say it became actually easy having him around. And he's not just the producer, he's also the writer of the show. So he was actually the right mind to, you know, go up to and ask when we had questions about anything. So I think it was actually a very convenient thing for me.
You said that you're an Imtiaz Ali fan yourself. Was it intimidating?
Very. Of course.
But like, I mean, of course, like, I mean, I'm going to say that, you know, I've grown up watching your films, and, you know, this idea that you've given to us youngsters, by the way,
What idea?
That he's old.
No, this idea of love and go on a journey, find yourself. I mean, Ved has just really that character's just stuck in my brains ever since the time I've watched Tamasha, and every time I go and watch Tamasha, I find something different about that character. But talking about Dr. Arora, how easy or difficult was it to cast the part? Because Mr. Kumud Mishra, he's done so many varied roles, but he just fits as Dr. Arora. So did you already have him in your mind, or was there a process that went
No,
to
I
casting?
did not have him in his mind when I thought of it for the first time or developed it, etc. But once we got on to writing and developing the script, I had only Kumud in mind. I had no plan B. And he did refuse to begin with. He said, I don't know, maybe not. And
Why did he refuse?
because he didn't know which way the show will turn out. And then also because we've known each other for years, and I've seen his plays more than I've worked with him, of course, and I've worked with him several times on television as well, and we've known each other for years, But I've seen some of his plays, especially the ones that Manav Kaul had directed. And I realized that he has that sensitivity, as we know, but he also has a certain comic sense,
Right.
things. So I needed both those things in one actor. We knew that we are not going to make it sleazy or titillating or cheap.
Yeah.
If we want to see that kind of content, we can always watch other content.
You mentioned comic timing.
Yeah.
You knew that this was going to take that road because...
Oh yeah, I knew that this was going to be a light-hearted, fun, often funny kind of a show.
Right. But also make people uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's funny, but it's not funny in a sleazy way. It's not a B-grade comedy.
Right.
But still, it's funny, And what we attack is the discomfort or the queasiness, and the fact that you have to keep it secret, and then what you do in your personal life.
Right. Difficult going ahead and, giving the show out to a platform, because I would imagine not a lot of people would instantly understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I was so keen that these guys, the Sony Live people, honestly, Danish and that time Saugata, they took it with a lot of love. They said, we know exactly what you're talking about, because we were also traveling to Delhi and we've also seen those things as a student, and even now, that advertising. And then we've also imagined what the hell would be the life of such a person and the lives of those guys that live there. And they love the fact that this was based in the 90s.
But the moment you put something out on OTT platforms, you're instantly competing with so much content. And I don't know, from the trailer when I watched it, it's not like that, but then we have something of a sex education, which is on Netflix. Which I think also talks about sex, but of course with teenagers. Did you see that being a problem, that all of a sudden in this space also, even though thrillers were a little bit of a last season in terms of OTT, but now everyone is trying to educate people on these topics that we should be really talking about. Did you see ever that could be a problem, that
Not at all. In fact, when I now recently saw 2 episodes together of Dr. Arora, I felt that this is something that I've never seen in any language before. And I see a lot of other language content also. I've not seen sex education, and I know what it is about because my daughter told me. But I'd be happy if there are other things that are familiar. It's okay, because already I feel that this is something which is very different from everything else. So that is not a problem at all.
Right. You as young age directors, when you come in today, you're already, he's set high standards, and then there are so much more content, because this generation, all the more I feel like we have access to so much content. Do you ever see that when you're picking projects to, work on? Do you see where it stands in the trajectory of things?
I think you pick a project on basis only your interest that it invokes in you. And I don't think there is any other mathematics to it. And all these things eventually they get calculated or whatever. We can talk about it, but basis of choosing anything to do, I guess, for anybody is the interest that it invokes in you.
But was the dream to always direct a masala Bollywood film?
Not for me.
What about
not
you?
yet. I don't know.
I would never say never, but it's not my dream yet. But maybe I will do it someday.
You're being diplomatic, I see. But I want to shift gears a little and just talk about OTT space today. You know, when you did Highway, say for example, it did tremendously well. And would you say that today, if something like that were to come, it probably wouldn't find takers in, say, being like a big theatrical, because we're seeing these, you know, everyone talking about, oh, this is an OTT film and everyone can watch it in a comfortable space. Do you ever see that things have changed with respect to what can be a feature and what should go as an OTT online feature?
I think things have changed, and they have been defined, I feel, by OTT coming on strongly, and it will differentiate between the subjects that will be shown theatrically and on OTT. Yes, there has to be a certain type of content that looks good on the big screen, and you want that uninterrupted kind of viewing in a public place, but in a dark hall, but big screen. I think the size of the screen matters there. So appointment viewing, big screen viewing, these are things that will become, like, these are the questions that one has to ask now before deciding whether something is going to go on the big screen, on like for a theatrical release. Highway, I'm not sure. Highway, perhaps I would still like to make a big screen film out of, because of the places we were going and how we were shooting. So for that.
Right. I honestly am only asking this question because when I see content today, I personally would want to go watch everything in the theatre. But of course, the pandemic sort of changed things, and you know, the
It
availability
really
of content.
pushed people, and they became very friendly, very
Right.
fast with entertainment available in these at home.
Right.
So
And also because we saw so many, like, say a Lakshmi releasing on Hotstar. It's an Akshay Kumar film, and you know, everybody would imagine it's that big ticket tentpole film,
Yeah.
but still it came to Hotstar because of the pandemic or whatever reasons.
Yeah.
But do you think what people see as a star, or what people see as a, like, by definition, what somebody who can pull people to the theatres has changed or evolved?
It had already changed, but now because of the pandemic, we see it much more. So I feel that, I think everybody likes to see good actors, but then you can in this time you can always see the good films of a certain actor again by going into the OTT space, because those films all lie there, you know. So it's not as though only the craze of the actor will pull you to come into a theater. There is I think content is king, has always been, and now more established as. And if there's an actor that people like, they'll come for it. But if the content is not good, then the same actor releasing two films will have different fates. You know what I mean? It's not just the pull of the actor. It never was, but now better wake up to realize that. It's only the content that can get people into the theaters. And people are very, very smart. People are smart. And they get the scent of a good film versus not such a good film. We as filmmakers have to also understand that, you know, we just talk about tactics and strategies and marketing. Our work is to make films. We should make good films, and good films will have a better chance of working than worse films. So that's all we can do, and that's all we should think about.
But can you tell what is going to be a good film? I know everyone...
No, you should. You can only try.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that when you are working, you can just try to make that work damn good, man.
Right.
And be very honest and have no ego around it. That's all you can do.
Right. Of course, the reviews of the show are coming now. Have you been keeping a track?
I don't watch reviews. I don't read reviews for a while now, like ever since my first Love Aajkal.
Do you keep track of reviews? Both of you?
do you?
I am, as of now. But hopefully...
Have you seen the reviews that Dr. Arora has been getting?
I've been reading some, yes. I have been
Right.
reading some.
And we've been constantly chatting about, and I'm constantly telling him not to attach
getting the
too
training
much
from him.
importance to it. It's fine. I'm in the middle, literally.
No, I just said it very harshly. Many of these reviewers are my friends too, but like this, I don't believe in reading
Do you
reviews.
think that reviews actually have an effect on whether people go out and watch a film?
I'm not sure about it. I've not done research. This has not been a topic of that much
Yeah.
interest that I research it.
You're really not saying.
But one thing that I do look forward to is user reviews, what
Yeah.
people are talking. And I'm constantly trying to find places that I can read what people are writing. I think that is some sort of an indicator that is truer.
How different is it directing a web series versus a film? Of course, the work that goes into it is
A lot more.
a lot more.
Yes.
I
A lot of work.
was gonna say that it'll still be as rigorous, the process.
No, much more work. Movie is what, 2 hours?
2, 3,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. This is what our content that we've created is, 5 hours, whatever, plus minus 6 hours. So it's a lot of work. It's like making 2 or maybe 3 films. And hence, thankfully, this man was there. And we could share the burden. It is too much work.
हम बहुत प्यार करते हैं अपनी वाइफ से पर मिसफायर हो जाता है
We lived with the high of so many beautiful characters that you gave us, and when say something like Jab Harry Met Sejal happens, and it doesn't hit as much as the other projects have probably worked. Did you ever think that I probably have to change how I'm looking at a love story or a story in general, and do I have to shift gears in terms of just the themes that I'm working on?
Yeah, all kinds of thoughts come into your mind, and in mine too, of what could have. As both of them said so wisely, I didn't know they are so wise, and I'm learning from them that
I've been constantly trying to tell you. You just don't listen.
today is the day I understood that sign finally. However, you learn from your good and bad. Like, long time back, I asked Rahman sir once, and I asked that so many people praise you constantly, Rahman, every song is good, and so, how do you keep perspective, doesn't it get to your head? How do you manage? So he said, you must have an opinion of your own work. Regardless of what other people are saying, if you have your own opinion about your work, then you'll be fine. So then I thought, let me do that as well. So I have an opinion about the work that I have done. Some of it is good and has not been recognized. Some of it is not so good but has got a lot of accolade. So in order to distinguish, you need to have your own opinion. And I feel there are things in Jab Harry Met Sejal that were not so good. Could have been better, should have been better things. But the thing is, you have to, I hate playing very safe. If a certain type of film has been made and it is done well, and then the whole industry comes, everybody says, we want another one like that. They cannot be. That film has surely has been made,
Right.
How can you make Dilwale Dulhania again? You should make some other film now.
And also as an artist, you should be constantly challenged
Exactly.
with not fitting into that same
The reason
thing
why
that
we
you're
came
doing.
here to Bombay and we are trying to make movies and shows is because we want to. We are interested in it, not because this was the safest thing to do. So it's too late in the day now to try to play safe. We are already in it now. So after making a Jab We Met, you want to make a different kind of film. So you go towards, rock star, or which is at least for me different. Nah?
Yeah.
So, but it's riskier.
Yeah.
You could always make. So I remember I didn't make Cocktail after Jab We Met because I thought I've had that fun. Now let me make something.
But do you
can't say.
understand that you're a cult? The work that you've done is cult for at least my generation. Do you understand that?
Now I know.
No, I'm sure you knew.
No, just
You
now.
did not-
Today is a day of great
you did not know
realization. I
this.
got to know about them. I got to know about me.
You got.
This Saturday evening is really pleasant.
Yeah, it's turned out to be
It's
quite
just missing
happy.
some things, but whatever. I'm gonna go straight to it. But today, right now, what is it that's catching your eye with respect to all the content that we're seeing on OTT? Something that you've liked recently, a film, web series?
I saw a film a little while back on Netflix. Seema Pawaji had directed it. Ram Prasad ki Tervi, I really enjoyed that film.
Yeah, I saw it too. It's very
Beautifully
nice.
shot. What characterization, the actors, the world, and all within the same house. It's very difficult to do. I really enjoyed that.
I saw Barry finally, which is on Hotstar, I think.
Yeah.
Really had a lot of fun watching it.
I, for one, try to watch content that takes me away from my ordinary. It's always about, like, I watch content which is the most outlandish. I like that. So if there's a Icelandic show, and there is, and I've watched it, called Trapped, and I like that. It's like being in a different culture, a place I've not been, in Chechnyan mountain, or things like that. I love.
Fargo we really like.
Fargo
Fargo is amazing. Yeah.
Fargo we love. And it's something that it's like the Godfather book. You can pick it up and read any page, anytime. Fargo is like that for me. And but recently, what I did is I watched a lot of American, but old shows. These are True Detective, very old, beautiful first season, and the third season is brilliant, beautiful. Really, like, I feel that they have established many things about how to make a show, and we should keep that in mind without any compromise. Also, The Wire, I saw 5 seasons of. It's like, I was amazed I saw 5 seasons of something. Then The Deuce, because I followed the writers of. So these kind of things, which I'm very fascinated by, having so many characters and yet holding a storyline and making a world that you want to go to again and again. Why don't you tell us what you watch?
What I watched was, actually, I watch a lot of cringe content also.
Like? You saw our show, are you saying that?
Is that why
Are you calling your show cringe?
Of course.
You just said it was not titillating.
No, it's not titillating. Why is titillating cringy? We just watch titillating without any cringe.
I don't know, I seem to blur the lines clearly, no. But I recently watched Man vs. Bee. It's on Netflix. It's this Rowan Atkinson show.
Man versus Bean.
Man vs. Bee.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, yeah. And
Man versus Bean.
I'm also watching
Man vs.
Stranger
Bean.
Things, the fourth season.
Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I've not seen the recent episode, season though.
I'm on the 4th season and I pretty much watch all the seasons together because I was keeping myself away from gore. I don't like watching like gory stuff. But that show is
Go
quite
done
simple.
right.
You should see Dark if you like Stranger Things. Dark.
This is on Hotstar?
Dark is on Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's highly recommended.
I don't like it. That's what
No,
I'm
it's not. It's not dark.
Okay.
The show itself is not dark and it's not gory, but it's very nicely, very extremely, brilliantly written.
Okay.
You like stuff like Narcos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
isn't that
Breaking
gory?
Bad. I love Breaking Bad. I love.
That also has gore, right?
yeah.
All these things.
Yeah,
Little
but there's
bit,
also
but-
human emotion and connect,
yeah,
na?
yeah. Well, so we have a lot of recommendations from you now, and thank you so much, and good luck for Dr. Arora and many other projects that you take up in the future.
Thank you.
And-
Best of
very
luck to you as well.